Taylor Swift drawn into legal dispute between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. The ongoing legal situation between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni regarding their professional collaboration on the film It Ends With Us has recently intensified, capturing widespread attention from fans and media outlets alike. For quite some time, there have been subtle indications suggesting Taylor Swift's potential connection to this professional disagreement, particularly since her name appeared in Justin's initial legal documentation. This past week, those quiet suggestions transformed into significant news as Taylor officially received a formal request to provide testimony. Indeed, she has now become legally involved in these proceedings. This isn't based on speculation, assumptions, or casual mentions in group conversations. She has genuinely been served with a formal legal document requesting her participation. This development has created considerable reaction among supporters of all parties involved. To properly understand the situation, let's examine the sequence of events that brought us to this point. Within his formal statement, Justin described how Blake progressively sought additional creative influence over It Ends With Us, and specifically mentioned that during work on the rooftop sequence, Blake created her own alternative version and subsequently presented it to him for consideration. During a gathering at her residential penthouse, which she shares with husband Ryan Reynolds, Ryan apparently expressed admiration for Blake's creative contribution. And according to reports, Taylor Swift was present during this discussion. She reportedly expressed positive sentiments toward Blake's written work. According to the legal documentation, Justin initially informed Blake that her contribution was valuable, and the final version would likely incorporate elements from both the original and her version. A response that apparently disappointed Blake and triggered an extended expression of frustration regarding her previous professional experiences, where her contributions weren't acknowledged in the manner she believed appropriate. In referencing Ryan and Taylor's presence, Justin appeared to suggest in his formal complaint that he perceived Blake as utilizing her high-profile connections and inner circle as a form of implied influence over him, essentially communicating, "Consider that both my husband Ryan Reynolds and my close friend Taylor Swift believe my creative contribution is exceptional." In subsequent electronic communications, there was one particularly notable message that received significant attention, as Justin included these communications from Blake in his formal complaint. One message stated, "If you ever watch Game of Thrones, you'll appreciate that I'm Khaleesi, and like her, I fortunately or unfortunately have a few dragons, but usually fortunately, because my dragons also protect those I fight for. So actually, we all benefit from these gorgeous monsters. You will too, I promise." The implication seems to be that these metaphorical dragons represented the influential celebrities in her personal life. When Taylor was initially mentioned in these legal proceedings, fans began raising questions such as, will this situation affect her friendship with Blake? Was Taylor aware of being referenced in this context? Did she actually review the script? Or was her name being invoked without her knowledge? Then, quite recently, observers noticed something that significantly intensified speculation. Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift's romantic partner, removed Ryan Reynolds from his social media following list. This seemingly minor action generated numerous theories, suggesting potential behind-the-scenes developments between Taylor and Blake. The previous month saw various reports suggesting friendship challenges emerging between them at the beginning of these legal proceedings after Taylor was first mentioned. However, according to information published in People magazine last month, they claimed that Taylor and Blake had successfully resolved their differences. Their report stated, the 37-year-old Lively referenced the 35-year-old musical artist as one of her dragons in an alleged electronic exchange, according to a formal complaint that Baldoni submitted in January, claiming that Swift encouraged him to accept rewritten scenes in the production. The most recent development in the Lively versus Wayfair Studios situation is the report indicating Swift might be among those receiving formal requests for testimony. Blake understood that she and Taylor would eventually move beyond the situation and that their friendship wasn't permanently damaged. An insider reveals about the legal complications. Taylor experienced significant concern over the situation, so she felt relieved learning they were able to recover from this and move forward, as it wasn't something she considered insignificant. They further explained. But advancing to the current week, Taylor's representatives confirmed she has now officially received a formal request to provide testimony in the proceedings between Blake and Justin. Her team rarely issues public statements, making this particularly noteworthy. They released a clear statement, emphasizing that Taylor had no involvement in the production of It Ends With Us, beyond permitting the use of her song My Tears Ricochet in the film. According to TMZ, Taylor's spokesperson stated, Taylor Swift never visited the production set of this film. She had no involvement in casting or creative decisions. She did not compose music for the film. She never viewed any edited version nor provided feedback on the film. She didn't even watch It Ends With Us until several weeks following its public release, and was traveling globally in 2023 and 2024, headlining an unprecedented concert tour. The representative further clarified that Taylor's connection to this film was strictly limited to authorizing the use of one song, My Tears Ricochet, given that her involvement extended only to licensing a song for the film, which 19 other artists also did. This formal request appears designed to generate public interest by creating attention-grabbing headlines for publications. Rather than focusing on the substantive issues of the case, people began examining earlier interviews from when It Ends With Us commenced its promotional activities, noting all instances where performers mentioned Taylor. Honestly, she remained by my side, experienced this journey with me. She, represents the type of person who shows unwavering support. Taylor may have had some influence regarding, yes, she did. Yes, I'm perhaps sharing something I shouldn't, but I'll say it. Yes, she played a helpful role in the audition process, which I discovered later, after securing the role, and that information astonished me. She informed me that Taylor Swift assisted her in obtaining the role by endorsing her audition. I participated in casting decisions, and I actually took and presented her audition recording to Blake and Taylor, and they both indicated, yes, select her, and that's an accurate account. It appears that fundamentally Taylor Swift wasn't attempting to influence anyone regarding decisions about this film. She simply happened to be present with Blake and Justin due to her friendship with Blake Lively. She read Blake's script and likely expressed appreciation for it when Justin was present. I believe there wasn't anything more significant involved. In fact, since Taylor Swift has officially received a legal summons in the dispute between Blake and Justin, she is now legally required to participate in the proceedings, whether that involves providing courtroom testimony, giving a formal sworn statement, or submitting relevant documentation. While there's no guarantee she will need to appear personally at the trial, such a possibility exists if her testimony is deemed significant. It's also probable she will be asked to provide a deposition, essentially a formal interview, conducted under oath with legal representatives present. However, her legal team may challenge the summons or attempt to limit its scope. I'm confident they will pursue exactly that approach, especially considering they have already criticized the summons as a publicity maneuver intended to leverage her celebrity status to attract attention to the case. Regardless, Taylor's involvement introduces enormous public scrutiny to an already high-profile situation, and whether or not she ultimately provides testimony, the inclusion of her name in these legal proceedings is already having considerable impact. This week, Blake Lively's attorney, Mike Gotadl, also addressed the upcoming March trial. People reported, yes, Gotadl confirmed when asked if Lively would testify. The crucial opportunity for a plaintiff's narrative to be presented occurs during trial. We anticipate that will happen here with Lively. Consequently, we naturally expect her to serve as a witness during her trial. Of course, she will provide testimony. He further indicated she wouldn't be the only one to speak, stating, "There are individuals who witnessed or experienced conduct relevant to Miss Lively's claims." Gottlieb asserts, "We expect their statements, particularly regarding what transpired during production, will emerge through live witness testimony. With the evidence-gathering phase underway, both sides will begin questioning those involved. During discovery, They will have opportunities to ask Miss Lively questions, explains Go Toddle. Similarly, we will have opportunities to conduct depositions from the defendants. Beyond witness accounts, Lively's legal representatives emphasize their case will also rely on documentary evidence. In addition to live testimony, the legal team plans to present documentation and statements from producers, Sony Pictures, and additional witnesses. Regarding the widely discussed nature of the case, her attorney suggests the conversation has diverged from the central focus of the lawsuit. He stated, "We believe numerous distractions have been introduced to redirect attention away from the retaliatory campaign launched against her," he contends. "And we expect and hope that during the discovery process, we'll have an opportunity to genuinely focus on what we consider the fundamental aspect of the case, that this retaliatory campaign was initiated against Miss Lively for raising concerns about inappropriate workplace conduct. Currently, it remains unclear whether Ryan Reynolds will provide testimony. Blake and Ryan's legal representatives are working to dismiss claims concerning him, but we must wait for further developments. Each week brings additional information to light. Since the commencement of legal proceedings, the situation has grown increasingly sophisticated. Public interest intensifies with each new development, particularly following the involvement of such a prominent figure as Taylor Swift. Blake Lively's representatives maintain that the central issue concerns the retaliatory measures taken against her after she raised questions about inappropriate behavior during production. However, Justin Baldoni's side alleges that Lively utilized her influence and professional connections to exert pressure on the creative process. Legal experts observe that involving well-known personalities in such proceedings can significantly complicate the progression of the case, transforming legal matters into media events. Many suggest the request for Taylor Swift's testimony might represent a strategic maneuver by Baldoni's defense, aimed at undermining confidence in Lively's statements and diverting attention from the fundamental issues. Questions remain regarding how these legal proceedings will impact the professional reputations of everyone involved. Regardless of the outcome, the public examination of personal and professional relationships between these prominent figures has already created significant reverberations throughout the entertainment industry. Numerous Hollywood insiders suggest this situation could establish precedent for examining relationships between performers and directors during production. As the March court date approaches, tension surrounding the case continues to build. Legal teams for both parties are preparing for extensive proceedings that will likely attract attention not only from supporters, but from the entire entertainment community. Whether this case becomes a pivotal moment in discussing creative control and professional ethics in Hollywood, or remains simply another example of public disagreements between celebrities, only time will provide the answer. If you found this analysis interesting, I encourage you to share your thoughts in the comments section. Your perspective on how celebrity relationships influence professional environments adds valuable dimension to this conversation. Don't forget to subscribe for ongoing updates as this situation continues to develop in the coming weeks.